Throne of Glass review. I just finished it yesterday. It took me a while to do it, longer than it normally takes me to do through a fantasy series. And here's the review. I thought it was, I'll give it 4.2 stars. I think it's just above a good series. I think it's a good/great series. It's not an excellent series. I know a lot of people that are going to watch, including somebody that gave me this ring. I know she's going to be mad about that it's her favorite series ever. It's not mine. I thought that Aelin's character was fantastic. I thought that her arc was great. I thought that her being a strong leader that relied on her friends and got in all kinds of information and took in what they were trying to say, but ultimately made the right decision. I think that's what you want from a fantasy monarch. There's somebody that is willing to put themselves on the line. She did that throughout the series. She would listen to what they had to say, but ultimately she made the big decision. I like that in leadership in a book. I like her partner, Rowan. I thought that Rowan was a fantastic character. He's supportive of her, but still ready to come in and absolutely mollywop anybody that messes with her. Huge fan of Rowan. One of my favorite scenes in the entire series, spoiler if you don't want that, is when Aelin first gets out of the iron coffin and leaves, and Rowan is like, where are they? Where is the guy that did it? And she tells him where it is, and he's like, all right, I'll be right back. He goes to the room and he ties the guy up, and he looks around and finds a tiny little thin razor, and then he comes back. It doesn't say what happens, and then he goes back up to Aelin later on, and Aelin asked him, well, what ended up happening? And Rowan said, do you remember if you told me what would happen if I ever whipped you? It is that you would skin me alive. And that's what he did, and then took his head off. I was a huge fan of that. That part made me so happy. I stood up and cheered. I'm a big Blackbeaks guy, especially Manon. Manon's character was unbelievable. I would read an arc about her life and her character and how she's going to come back from the trials and tribulations there at the end. I love Manon Blackbeak, how she can drop down her iron claw teeth and take out your neck. I like that. Manon was fantastic. Dorian, another great character. I liked his arc and what they did with him, from being like a real, almost like kind of academic prince at the beginning to being like this legit leader king who had all kinds of power and was doing the right thing for the right reason, going after his baddie and Manon. I liked all that. I liked the series. I thought that it was way too drawn out. And the thing that really drove me nuts, this is what really drove me crazy, is that there's all this emotional baggage that goes into each and every one of these huge scenes. Like when they're going to actually go into a battle, they'll have this big draw up. They're talking battle plans. They're talking about the emotions behind it, the history behind it, what could possibly go wrong, where they're going to end up, what they're going to do next, all these different steps. You'll see this huge, there's one scene in the last book, it's like a third of the way through, where they talk about these armies that are coming. There's one army that has 50,000 people that are flying in and they're marching in, and it's going to be a huge battle. And the 25,000 that are going to go against it, how are they going to be able to survive? They have this big announcement. They're explaining like the size and scale, like these people that are military tacticians that are looking at it and going over and being like, okay, we got 1, 2, holy shit, we got 15,000 people on this side, we got 10,000 on that side, totaling 50 grand of different types of folks that are coming in and going to take out this area. And then next thing you know, the whole battle scene lasts like 6 paragraphs. I need more. I need more from you, Sarah J. Maas, in that situation. If you're going to have 50,000 troops versus 25,000 troops, it needs to last a lot longer than 6 paragraphs, because you're just building up, and then it's like you're edging, and then the release is like that. I don't want to be edged and get that tiny little bit of release. I want to go full out. Give me the whole kit and caboodle. I want to do this like Sting. I want to be going after it and getting that book cooch, you know? Like, I want that war scene. I want it good. I want it long. I want it violent. And a lot of times that didn't happen. Now, when it did happen at the end, it was amazing. Like, if you've been watching these book reviews, you know I'm a Brandon Sanderson guy. I'm a huge Brandon Sanderson guy, and he has what's called the Sanderlanche. Usually like the last hour of the book, the last 100 pages, 150 pages or so are nuts. She did that in like big time in the last book, Kingdom of Ash. She did that big time. There's a Sanderlanche that lasted for like probably the last 3 hours were insane. But the getting there, it was difficult. Like there was a couple times, and I did stop after book 3. I usually don't stop when I start a fantasy series. I just keep going so I don't have to remember all the different names. I stopped after book 3 because I was kind of bored with it. I wanted to really stop after book 5. I was almost done. If my wife didn't get a tattoo of Throne of Glass like legit 3 weeks ago at this point, I don't know if I would have continued, but I did it. And it was good. It's worth the read for sure. It's not as good as ACOTAR. I didn't think it was good as Poppy Wars. Maybe the type of story just isn't for me. I want a little bit more violence and I want a little more bloodshed, and there was a lot, but not enough of it, if that makes sense. The parts where it was a big battle, those big battles were good, but there wasn't enough. And I felt like that there was a lot of emotional arc that repeated itself over and over and over again. I didn't enjoy that. Overall, again, 4.2. Moving on. Throne of Glass. That's the review.